Yo, this is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And our sponsors are Alpha Claims and Hire Birmingham, the leading and best accident management company. Get a replacement car anywhere in 1 hour. Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. It's become a very popular holiday destination for a lot of Europeans and especially a lot of British people. And this story talks about the differences in the law over there and the way that things that you do here can have totally different consequences. This story actually involves 2 spliffs of marijuana. This story came out in the media on the 4th of July. Derrin Crawford is stuck in Dubai and they say that she may be there for a long time. And even if she is cleared of the charges that she faces, she still may be kept in Dubai forcefully to stand as a witness. The 23-year-old air hostess from Liverpool was arrested in late June when Dubai police raided the apartment of a man she had just started dating. Derrin was in an apartment at the time. Her date that evening was the target of the drug raid by the police, and drugs were found on the premises. Both Derrin and the man were taken into custody. Derrin has been arrested on allegations of possession of drugs with intent to distribute, despite having no drugs on her person or in her bloodstream, and the fact that the apartment was not her own and her presence at the time at the police raid was a pure coincidence. According to Radha Sterling, they represent a lot of people that have been kept there. They said that she was given another drug test and it has come back negative. They said that she should be released, but she hasn't yet. But she may also be required to stay in the United Arab Emirates as a witness. Derrin only knew this man for 4 days before the raid happened, and we are hopeful that he will also submit a statement to confirm this to the authorities. The narcotics found in the flat belonged to the man and the man alone, and Derrin had no knowledge of it. She didn't consume any drugs, and we are told that the allegations against her may be dropped very soon. However, the public prosecutor may require her to stay in Dubai as the witness. Dubai doesn't adhere to the same standards of investigating and evidence procedures as the UK. This has led to many cases in which people have simply been in the same area that a crime has occurred and been implicated and charged in it. Andy Neal spent over 1 year in prison, even while there was positive proof of his innocence, and it was known also to the police. The only thing linking him in any way to the real offenders was a name in his contact list, apparently shared by one of the individuals targeted in a police investigation. Asa Hutchinson was arrested and detained for months simply for being present during a fight in a hotel lobby. She was treated as an accomplice rather than a witness. The police cast a very wide net, often very randomly when a crime is suspected, and anyone in proximity of that crime can be implicated and coerced into making false statements. They then went on to say that they frequently make people sign statements in Arabic they do not understand, and fast-track convictions alternatively to someone like Derrin can find themselves detained or subjected to a travel ban for months during prolonged investigations, which are often deliberately prolonged precisely to coerce the suspects into confessing because the police don't have a lot of evidence. Fortunately, legal representation has been arranged for Derrin, and it is our hope that Derrin will be released very soon and that the individual who allegedly possessed the illegal substances will clear her of any involvement or knowledge. Derrin should be allowed to return home as soon as possible. The consular staff need to follow up with the Dubai authorities to ensure that acceptable standards of due process are observed. Derrin could find herself stuck in the UAE against her will and without due cause. Derrin worked for the Emirates line and she was based in Dubai. She'd gone out for dinner with a man and agreed to go back to his apartment when it was raided by police. Her sister, Danielle, who was 28, told the media that the police found 2 cannabis joints and arrested them. Derrin from Liverpool was held in a police station for several days before being transferred to the notorious Al Bashra prison. In a tearful phone call home, she told Danielle, her sister, that she had undergone blood tests for drugs and officers agreed to let her go if she come negative. Although the test came in on Thursday and proved she had no drugs in her system, she is still in jail. Danielle said she is innocent and she was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. The police have been trying to interrogate her and she doesn't even know this guy. When she was arrested, they took her phone. She managed to call me a few days later when she was being transferred from a jail. At first I couldn't understand what she was saying because she was crying and crying. She didn't eat or sleep for days. She doesn't drink or smoke and she has a good job with Emirates. It is a shame that she got caught up in all of this. She's 23 and it is so scary. Derrin, who lost her mother aged only 11 and was raised by her auntie. She moved to Dubai in 2018 and secured a job with the airline. She was arrested on June the 21st and managed to alert her family on June the 25th. She's in isolation, they say, in prison. The air hostess told relatives she agreed to go on a date with a man believed to be a fellow Brit and a marketing executive from London. The British Embassy in Dubai are understood to have been looking into Derrin's case, but have not yet visited her. Her sister goes on to say that she's trying to get her solicitor to inquire about her sister's welfare. A spokesman for the Foreign Office said they are supporting a British woman who is currently detained in Dubai, and they look to visit with her when the lockdown restrictions are lifted. They are in contact with the authorities and have provided details of the family's lawyer. A Dubai spokesperson said 2 British people were arrested on suspicion of possession of narcotics with intent to supply. They were taken into custody and charged with the possession of cannabis, pills and other items that are classed as illegal in Dubai. The Dubai police have referred the case to the public prosecution and the accused are currently out on bail. The Dubai authorities have zero tolerance for recreational drug use. This is a further reminder of a story that I believe goes back to 2008 involving a DJ called Groove Rider. He's one of the pioneers of drum and bass music and he was sentenced to 4.5 years when he went to Dubai for possession of 2 grams of cannabis. His real name is Raymond Bingham and he was arrested at Dubai airport that year. Police found a small transparent bag, 2 grams of the drug in his luggage. The 4-year sentence was the minimum allowed under UAE law, which takes a hard line on drugs. Recently, a string of travellers have been arrested in Dubai, which is a popular tourism and business destination. In the earlier hearing, Groove Rider argued that he'd had no intention of bringing the drug into the country. The drugs were in my possession and I forgot I had them in my trousers, he said. Groove Rider is a prominent name in the UK music scene since the 1990s when he helped popularise drum and bass as a way to play sets in nightclubs in the city. In an interview after he was jailed, he said, "I just want this to end. I want to leave and never come back." Alongside DJ partner Fabio, he presented a Radio 1 show for several years. It is understood that because he is employed as a freelance journalist, the BBC has not paid Groove Rider since he was arrested in November. Earlier this month, the charity Fair Trolls International warned travellers falling foul of the tough regime in Dubai, and it highlighted cases including that of Keith Brown, who was arrested after a rolled-up cigarette was discovered in the sole of his shoe. He was charged with possession of 0.003 grams of cannabis and jailed for 4 years. BBC Radio 1 DJ Groove Rider was actually released after serving 10 months of a 4-year sentence. He was pardoned by the Dubai royal family. So I know a lot of people wasn't even familiar with that case when I tweeted about this earlier today. And there is a lot of different coverage in smaller media outlets such as Vice News, where the story of Carl Williams, who was actually an artist from the UK, has appeared on Grime Daily and various other channels, and he's got his own YouTube as well. And he featured in an interview and a story in the Vice News website where he told about his story. Carl Williams travelled to Dubai in 2012. He was going there for a holiday to enjoy the sea, sand and have a good time. As soon as he got there, he was met by 6 pistol-packing policemen that dragged him and his friend Grant Cameron and Sunit Jia out of their hire car, and the police proceeded to beat them and Carl while calling them racist names. The police found packets of synthetic cannabis spice in the car, and Carl and his 2 friends alleged they were tortured and asked about information about their supplier. Carl was sentenced to 4 years in prison, where he says that rape was commonplace and the inmates are routinely drugged and the wings unofficially run by the Russian mafia. He said in the interview with Vice News, in one prison, Port Rashid, the conditions were disgusting. It was overcrowded with 300 people in a jail that could only hold 100. The food was awful and the prisoners ran the place. The second prison, he said, was a lot better. Carl Williams also went on in an interview to explain that he was tortured during his stay there as well. He was given electric shocks and had guns held to his head during the 7-month period that they were held without trial. The London men were pardoned after 1 year after they was arrested when drugs were found in the car while on holiday in the United Arab Emirates, Dubai. They denied charges of consumption and possession with intent to distribute, and Cameron is now back in London with Gia and Williams awaiting deportation from Dubai. So this story definitely makes you think about, if you are going to a country like Dubai, do not mess about with their laws. Be careful, do not take risks, do not get caught with drugs, or take drugs preferably if you're there. And it's just crazy to think that one country to the next has completely different laws and conditions and how they would treat you for a spliff. So I really appreciate you joining me today, and I'd really like to hear what people have to say on this. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and I'll be back again very soon with some more news. Peace.
And you didn't give a damn, so tell him it is over. I don't even mean to be rude.